talking about a car that's more beast than beauty. It's the Nissan GTR, a machine so powerful it earned the nickname Godzilla. It was a twin-turbo, all-drive powerhouse from Japan that shook up the automotive world. It arrived, dominated, and did it all over again, repeatedly. My name is Harrison. Welcome to episode 1 of Weseworlds Car Legends Uncovered. Today, we're kicking off a 2-part series diving deep into the GTR's legendary legacy. From its humble origins in 1969 to the engineering marvel we know today as the R35, we'll explore how this car became exactly a motorsport icon. So buckle up, because this isn't just a car story. It's a story of a true legend that's about to be uncovered. The GTR story begins long before it earned its iconic badge. The roots go back to when the Prince Motor Company, a small Japanese manufacturer, debuted the Nissan Skyline in 1957. It was originally just a luxury car, a far cry from the powerhouse it would become. Fast forward to 1966, Prince merged with Nissan, and under the watchful eye of legendary engineer Shinichiro Sakurai, the Skyline's DNA was altered forever. Sakurai, born in 1929, had a vision to build a car that could dominate on the track. His obsession with precision and his background in engineering made him the ideal candidate to lead this ambitious project. By the late 1960s, the Prince Skyline evolved into the 1969 Nissan Skyline GTR, the car that would kick off the legend. In the mid-1960s, the Japanese automotive world was primarily focused on creating reliable, fuel-efficient cars. Sakurai, on the other hand, had other ideas, drawing inspiration from European racing cars, especially the Formula One. He sought to design a car that could crush its competition. The result? The 1969 Nissan Skyline GTR, affectionately nicknamed the Hakosuka, a combination of Hako meaning boxy and Suka short for Skyline. The Hakosuka was powered by the S20 engine, a 2-litre inline-6 powerhouse borrowed from the Prince R380 race car. It packed 160 horsepower, an impressive number for the time. The Skyline GTR wasn't just about raw power, it was also about handling and control. It came with semi-trailing arm suspension, making it incredibly agile for a car of its era. This was no ordinary sedan, it was a racer disguised as a family car, and it showed. The Hakosuka took the racing world by storm, racking up an incredible 49 victories in just 2 years. How incredible is that? This was just the beginning of the GTR's motorsport dominance, a legacy that would continue for decades. Sakurai's creation wasn't just fast, it was precise, handling corners with finesse that American muscle cars of that era simply couldn't match. And that's where Nissan started to carve out its reputation, a car that wasn't just about straight-line speed, but balance, handling, and performance. By the early 70s, this boxy sedan had put the world on notice. Japan was here, and it wasn't messing around.
世界一信頼性の高い速い車を作ってみたいという
But Nissan wasn't done. In 1971, they evolved the GTR into something even more legendary. Gone were the 4 doors, in came the coupe, a shorter wheelbase, wider stance, and how can I forget the unmistakable rear spoiler. This was a car designed to slice through corners like a knife. No more family sedan vibes. This was a full-blown track killer. The handling was sharper, the looks were meaner, and the road presence, you ask? Oh, it was there. It wasn't just a step forward, it was a leap into full racing territory. Then, in 1972, the Ken Mary GTR launched. Nissan had some fun with marketing, naming this model after 2 fictional characters, Ken and Mary. But don't let that playful branding fool you. This car was all business. With a sleek, fastback design, this car had looked more muscle car than anything Nissan had built before.
あのスカイラインが新しくなりました。いつだってどこにだって果てしない空を風は歌ってゆくさ今だけの
What made the Ken Mary GTR special beyond its styling were its technological advancements. This was one of the first production cars to feature 4-wheel disc brakes, which drastically improved its stopping power. Unfortunately, this was also the last GTR of its kind. due to the oil crisis in 1973, Nissan had to cease production after only 197 units, making the Camry GTR one of the rarest models in the GTR family.
新しいスカイラインの新しい旅立ちです。
Now here's where the story gets interesting. Following the oil crisis and the end of the Camry GTR, Nissan shifted its focus toward more practical and reliable models throughout the 1970s and early 1980s. Fast forward to 1985 and Nissan had a problem. Shinichiro Sakurai, the man who was the mastermind of the GTR, had fallen ill and wasn't able to complete the next-gen design. So his protege, Naganori Ito, took over and launched the R31 Skyline. But here's the catch, it didn't have a GTR badge. For a fan base that had come to worship the GTR's racing pedigree, this was a massive letdown. While the R31 had some notable variants like the Skyline Turbo C and the GTSR, which was a homologation model for Group A racing, the absence of the GTR left fans waiting, eager for its return. But they didn't have to wait too long. Then came the R32 GTR in 1989, and it didn't just hit the streets, it stormed onto them. After the disappointing R31, Naganori Ito knew he needed to do something spectacular. He needed to bring back the GTR name in a way that honoured his mentor's legacy, and the R32 did just that. Now, let's talk numbers. A 2.6 litre twin turbocharged straight 6 engine putting out 276 horsepower, known as the RB26. Though rumours suggest it was actually more due to the gentleman's agreement between Japanese automakers to limit advertised horsepower. What really set the R32 apart was its cutting-edge technology. That might not sound like much in today's hypercar world, but back then, it was game-changing. Add to that, Nissan's cutting-edge Atessa ETS all-wheel drive system and Hikus active rear-wheel steering, and you got a car that handled like nothing else. This wasn't just a car you drove, it was a car that drove you. It didn't just win races, it destroyed everything in its path. The R32 GTR race car was entered into the Japanese Grand Prix Championships Group A series it was designed to dominate. 29 straight victories in the Japanese Touring Car Championships, unbeaten from 1989 to 1993. You know that blue Calsonic car from Gran Turismo 4? It won the JTCC Championships in 1990 and 1994, and it didn't stop there. The R32 crushed the Nürburgring 24-hour race, Spa and Macau. But the R32's most impactful victories were still yet to come.
金という意味を持ちます。
そうですね。もう車に乗ればすぐカウンター当てたくなるようなドライバーなんですけどね。
Did you know that in the July 1989 issue of the Wheels magazine, the R32 Nissan Skyline GTR was crowned with the now iconic nickname Godzilla. For its monstrous, unstoppable performance, the name stuck, and the rest was history. Editor Phil Scott coined the name after a discussion about the Japanese term obakimono, meaning monster, which perfectly captured the GTR's fearsome presence. For the cover, Scott chose to make the GTR bright red, a colour it never actually came in, altering the image pixel by pixel so it would stand out on newsstands. Armed with a twin turbocharged engine and advanced all-wheel drive, it wasn't just a car, it was a force of nature. Nissan wanted to race the GTR against Ford's dominant Sierra Cosworth in the Australian Touring Car Championships. To support this, Australia became the only market outside Japan where the GTR was sold as a road car, solidifying its global reputation. The R32 didn't just make waves in Japan. Here in Australia, Gibson Motorsport took the car to even greater heights when they got their hands on a Nismo-tuned R32 race car in 1990. They didn't just make minor tweaks, they stripped the whole car down, tossing out the AC, the ABS, and even the rear windshield wiper, everything to try and make the car faster. Gibson faced a major hurdle though. The cost of parts for the all-wheel drive setup was excessive. During the build process, they racked up a staggering $1 million tab with Nissan. To avoid these high expenses in the future, Gibson decided to manufacture their own parts. By the end of their GTR era, only the body, front and rear cross members and the engine block were from Nissan. Everything else was custom built by Gibson. The R32's reign, however, faced challenges as the Australian Touring Car Championships imposed regulations aimed at slowing it down, like reducing boost pressure and adding weight penalties. But even with those restrictions, the R32 dominated, winning the Australian Touring Car Championships in 1990, 1991 and 1992. The car's success on track under these challenging conditions only cemented its reputation as Godzilla of the racing world. These titans from Japan weren't just fast, they were unstoppable, crushing everything in their path and leaving a lasting legacy in racing history.
A straight line, if they could find a bit of straight line here, it'd be interesting to see what Dick can do with the GTR, but it's like waltzing on ice at the top of the mountain because there's no dry line up there.
As we mark the R32 GTR's debut, it's a moment to celebrate the car's birthday and enduring legacy. The R32 GTR continues to captivate enthusiasts with its revolutionary technology and unmatched performance. Its influence is still felt in the automotive world, and the story remains a benchmark for engineering excellence. Whether you're a long-time fan or a newcomer to the GTR legacy, this milestone reminds us of the groundbreaking innovation that set the stage for the future of high-performance cars. Jump to 1995, following the R32's triumphant victory at the 1992 Bathurst 1000, where it crossed the finish line in a blaze of controversy and red flags. The GTR's dominance was undeniable, but unfortunately, due to the Australian Touring Car Championships altering rules to favour V8-powered Fords in 1993, it was clear that Nissan needed to raise the bar even higher. Now where were we? That's right, jump to 1995, Nissan drops the R33 GTR. And it's not just a car, it's a statement. Leading the charge, you ask? Kozo Watanabe, a man so legendary they called him the Emperor. This guy witnessed Japan's first Grand Prix in the 60s, and now he and his team were ready to push the RB26 engine to new heights, squeezing out even more performance. But it's not just brute force. The R33 got reinforced chassis with beefed up frame rails and cutting-edge multi-link front suspension, turning it into a precision beast. Nissan didn't just rely on old-school techniques either. They went futuristic, using computer-simulated design to dial everything in perfectly. Innovation? That's an understatement. Weighing an extra 300 pounds more than the R32, you'd expect it to be slower, right? Wrong, it didn't matter. The R33 obliterated its predecessor on the Nürburgring, proving that it wasn't just carrying the GTR legacy, it was rewriting it. Strength, agility, and speed. This car wasn't just playing the game, it was leveling up, putting Nissan light years ahead of the performance race. By the time Nissan launched the R34 GTR in 1999, the world was ready for the next chapter in the GTR saga, and the R34 did not disappoint. It became one of the most iconic cars of its time, thanks in part to the appearances in the video games like Gran Turismo and the movies like the Fast and Furious franchise. But the R34 wasn't just a star on the screen, it was a technological marvel in real life. The R34 featured a shorter wheelbase, giving it even sharper handling than the R33, perfect for high-speed thrills. But the real game changer, the multifunction display or MFD. This LCD screen was a revelation, giving drivers real-time updates on boost pressure, oil and water temps, and even lap times. Think of it as a precursor to today's digital dashboards. Boom! In 2007, after 5 years of development, Nissan unveils the R35 GTR at the Tokyo Motor Show, marking a bold reinvention of the GTR legacy. Guided by Kazutoshi Mizuno's vision, Mizuno, a former Le Mans program director, returned to Nissan in 2000 with a mission to resurrect Godzilla for a global stage, especially in the US market. Meeting strict American missions and safety standards meant the R35 needed to complete a redesign. Gone was the iconic RB26, instead Mizuno's team opted for the VR38 DETT, a 3.8-litre twin-turbo V6 featuring 6 hand-built pistons per cylinder, twin IHI turbochargers, and a magnesium exhaust system. This engine powered the 480 horsepower beast, and despite its hefty 3,837 pound weight, the R35's front engine, rear transaxle layout, paired with all-wheel drive, gave it unmatched balance and handling. Advanced tech like launch control, a dual-clutch transmission, electronically controlled dampening, and computer-controlled torque distribution helped it achieve a blistering 0 to 60 mph time of 2.9 seconds, outpacing even Ferraris and Porsches. Mizuno's vision not only resurrected the GTR, but transformed it into a supercar icon. Blending cutting-edge performance with everyday drivability, the R35 proved that Godzilla was not just back, it was better than ever. The GTR Festival has long been a cornerstone of GTR culture in Australia, celebrating the iconic Nissan GTR's legacy. Led by Andrew Hawkins of Motive Video, the festival showcases the thriving aftermarket scene, where Australian tuners push these cars to their limits with cutting-edge performance upgrades. From custom tunes to high-performance parts, Australia's contributions have been crucial to the GTR's ongoing evolution. Now the festival's influence has spread to the US, bringing the same passion and innovation to American shores, where the GTR community continues to grow. The legacy of the Skyline GTR spans decades, evolving from its humble beginnings in 1969 to the technological powerhouse that we know today as the R35. Each generation pushed boundaries, setting new standards in performance and engineering excellence. While capturing the hearts of car enthusiasts worldwide, the GTR became more than just a car. It became a symbol of speed and innovation, and that's just the beginning. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching episode 1 of Weseworlds Car Legends Uncovered. If you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you do not miss the next video. Peace.